we are at the National Ambulance Service Master Dispatch Center, where your calls come to directly before it is redirected to the nearest ambulance service for your situation to be attended to. Aside the continuous attack that threatens their work, the National Ambulance Dispatch Center, mandated to receive emergency calls for swift dispatch, has to deal with prank calls from the public. I have been speaking to the head of the National Dispatch Center, Madam Matilda Nati.
Basically, this is the National Ambulance Service Dispatch Center, where all emergency calls pass through. We interrogate the caller. After the interrogation, then we make a dispatch to the appropriate station to attend to the emergency. In a day, we receive more than 500 calls, and then out of the 500, I can tell you it's only 98% are prank calls. The true calls are just 2%.
That's quite serious. Why should we have a chunk of it being prank calls?
Well, maybe because it's a toll-free number. People always want to abuse the system, and it prevents others from getting access when they are truly in an emergency situation. During
our short stay for this interview, the National Ambulance Dispatch Center received about 40 prank calls in a space of an hour. I tried to engage some of the callers. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. National Ambulance Emergency Center, how may I help you? Hello? Hello? So the children called and they're on the line again, playing with the phone when people really need this time to call for an emergency. I'm still on the line trying to engage them. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, National Ambulance Emergency Center. How may I help you? So it is one of those prank calls again. Basically, this is what the personnel here would have to be wasting their energy on from time to time. In Greater Accra, we have 38 ambulance stations, and then 1 dispatch center. So basically, we control the stations in Greater Accra. But with the 112, if any call comes and then it's not for Greater Accra, then we forward it to the appropriate region. The 112 calls to is not only ambulance cases that come. It's a unique number for all emergency services. Somebody can call through the 112 who needs assistance of either fire service, police service, NADMO, or ambulance. So you redirect these calls to those officers? Calls to the appropriate agencies. We take all the details and then we forward it to them for them to be able to fast track the emergency. Yeah. That's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. So the other one that is not generic, what are the numbers? We have our dedicated numbers. What are they? We have the MTM number, which is 0558201496. We have our landline, that's the Vodafone line, 0302690722. And then we have our GOTA numbers, that is known to most of the ambulance stations and then especially hospitals and some health facilities. So those that they know this number, they don't need to call through the 11, they just call us direct. And then, but those numbers, they are a bit lengthy, and before even any ordinary person will keep that in mind, call it, or it's best they save it on their phone and dial it in case of any emergency. Yeah. So for the 112, I think anybody, even when you are asleep and then you needed and you are in an emergency situation, either you need a fire service, ambulance service, NADMO, or the police, it's easy for you to remember 112. Okay. So you call, it can go to any of these institutions, and then based upon which assistance that you need, they will still receive the call and they redirect the calls to us. But with our dedicated numbers, normally, because we do most of our cases are inter-hospital transfers, they have our numbers, and since they want to deal with us direct, now the call going to a particular facility, they take your details and they redirect, and they have that numbers at the various hospitals and in their wards, and then they call through our dedicated numbers. But it equally means that anybody at all can save that dedicated number and also call when in case of an emergency. Yes, sir. Walter Foley is the Greater Accra Deputy Regional Administrator,
who doubles as the municipal ambulance officer stationed at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. He has been explaining what the daily routine of an ambulance officer is.
Normally the call comes through what we call the gota phone, and then there are other calls that comes through. We call them walk-in calls. The person could walk in directly and then report an emergency. But you are being specific that the call is coming from our dispatch center. So when the call comes in, you have no time to waste. You understand? You have no time to waste. You need to prepare for every call that comes in. For instance, if it's an RTA that you need to respond, you need to respond appropriately. You just have to ensure that all your equipment that on board the ambulance, you do your what we call taking over early in the morning before you prepare for any emergency. So taking over just means that the previous ward that is knocking off hand over every equipment to you, so you are on standby to respond to any emergency.
What routine checks do you do on your vehicle or with the emergency van to ensure that you are, ready to attend to an emergency?
What happened is that we have a checklist which is being managed by the drivers and then the EMT as well. When I talk of EMTs, they are the emergency medical technicians. So the checklist includes checking of your tires, checking of everything, that your braking system, your steering system, your siren. In fact, you even test the siren to ensure that it's working and functioning. And then the inner part of the ambulance, which is the patient compartment as well, you check your oxygen level, you check all equipment that will aid in your delivery of service.
We are in the house of one of those people who once engaged the services of the ambulance service to tell us their story. Oh, hello, ma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good. So, my name is Fred. I'm from City TV. We are telling a story about those who have ever engaged the services of the ambulance for them to share their story with us. Have you ever used the ambulance before?
Yes, please.
What happened? Tell us.
I was at emergency. I was in my dying moments at Faith Mission Hospital. And that on the 14th March, it was terrible. They have to transfer me to bigger hospital, either Kolebo or 37, and they say there are no bed. So at that moment, they needed an ambulance. I was an admission. I don't know what is happening because I can't breathe. I can't do anything. All of a sudden, I saw my church members, the elders, the pastors. They went to the doctor, and they told me I shouldn't worry. The ambulance is coming. All I see that somebody make a phone call. I hear the ambulance has arrived to the 37 military hospital. From there they say I have to go and do CTC. That I have to go and scan. The ambulance waited for me. They took me to the scan and they brought me back. They waited for me until I got bed. I got bed before the ambulance left me. They said I couldn't breathe, so they took me. At first, they took me to emergency room, and they removed me from the emergency to the ward. But on that Saturday evening to Sunday, I couldn't do anything, and they came. A patient went and told the nurse, and they came and removed me from the ward to the emergency again, and they put me on oxygen. Still, if I want to be I have to just from here to here. It will take me 1 hour.
Now you are back. You are strong. You are fit. Did you? Thought it wise to probably have the contact of the ambulance service or any of the emergency service providers, their contacts on your phone, so that should anything of such happen again, you would probably dial those numbers, assuming there is no one around to save you. Do you have those contacts?
No, I haven't thought of that.
You've not thought of that?
I haven't thought of that. If it's you are now reminding me that I should have that contact on my phone. I don't have that contact on my phone.
But I think it's good if you have such contacts on your phone. Maybe you can at least manage, dial it first and report before anyone comes to your rescue next time. I think going forward you will do that.
Oh yes, I will do it.
That is quite interesting. So basically, she is one of the very few or the numerous people who has engaged the services of the EMT, the emergency medical technicians, who normally drive these ambulances you see on the streets. She's been saved, let's say, by the swift intervention of the ambulance. What could be your story? You may never know. From here, you may want to save the contact of the emergency service providers on your phone. My name is Fred Joe reporting for City News.